What is going on, everybody? How is everybody doing? How the flock are you? Thank you so much, guys, for joining the stream. We've got a much better start than we did have yesterday. That account looks a bit suspect, but we'll find out. Anyway, how are you all doing? And of course, what is everyone drinking? And quick question to start off the stream. For those of you that got here early, would you guys watch me if I streamed on Twitch? Just doing a bit of a poll. This stream isn't going anywhere. This stream is not going anywhere. Don't worry about that. The only reason I'm asking is because there's a potential for me to do some interesting stuff on Twitch, which should be interesting. So I just want to know if you guys would convert over to Twitch. But let's jump straight into the chat. We've got Daz Dark, how you doing? Cario Lou, how you doing? Tiger Rage, we got a mod in the house. Thank you so much for joining. Florin Sandu, how are you? Adam O, very interesting name there, FIFA 11. Another Hoops. AM Saturday in the chat, how are you, AM? We got J Rock in the house. JP43, straight in with a question. You don't waste any time, do you, my man? Nimfria in the chat, some hearts for Nimfria, another content creator. We've got Hussein in the chat as well. Florence Sandu dropping in rank, unfortunately. Sorry to hear that. David Price saying good evening. How are you, David? Adam O on here on time for once, eh? Sometimes it's good to be fashionably late. Another Hoops would go over to Twitch. JP43, don't worry. This show isn't going anywhere. There will still be this stream on YouTube. What I will say is the reason I'm considering Twitch is because potentially a new project is being considered, and the new project wouldn't really get much traction on YouTube with their new rules. This channel, fortunately, I'm above the new thresholds. They put in new thresholds for people to monetize their channel, and monetized content gets more coverage because, of course, that gets YouTube more money. So this isn't going anywhere. I'm fine here. FPL Today streams every week, videos every week, so don't worry about that, JP. Daz Dark doesn't usually watch Twitch. This would be a good show if you like FPL, just so you know. Nimfree, I know you'd watch me on Twitch. Jan Ivar Jacobson, Norway here, President Trump's favourite country. Wow, did he say that? I'm not sure that's really what you want to be said. YouTube is definitely more convenient for a lot of you guys. I know that most of my audience is here as well, but this would be something new, something different. But anyway, let's get into the FPL questions. 17 people watching, almost 4 minutes in, and I've just ranted and raved. Of course, if you do want to support the stream, various links in the description down below, as well as becoming a Patreon for $1 or more a month. You can help the channel grow and help with the content, and you can also sponsor the stream like Mr. Blessing Arolo. Anyway, JP43 had the first question in, and it's, should I get rid of Pope for -4 as Heaton is back and fixtures not healthy? Up to 5 million in the bank. So the fixtures, Burnley don't have the greatest run of fixtures. Man United next, then Newcastle, then Man City, then Swansea and Southampton. So there's some tough fixtures in there. However, you could rotate that as long as you had a keeper that's rotation works. So you want someone that has an easy game in 24 and 26. Looking at this, you've got West Ham with a good run of 4 fixtures coming up. You've got... That's probably about it. Stoke as well. Are you going to take the risk with a Stoke goalkeeper, though? And then is there anyone with just those 2 fixtures good? Not really. West Brom have Everton and Southampton. But it's up to you whether you think West Brom are now going to start keeping clean sheets with new management. That you could, of course, bring in Tom Heaton and then just have a Burnley goalkeeper. But that would be putting a lot of faith in Burnley. It is something you could possibly do. But I think Tom Heaton's a bit expensive to have just for him to be like one of 2 goalkeepers, because you usually do that strategy to save money. I wouldn't take a -4 for Pope, though. I mean, I've got Elliott and Pope, so ideally you probably don't want Elliott and Pope for this game week because they play Man United and Man City. But I'm going to put a lot more faith in Burnley's defence than I am Newcastle's against Man City. Alright, let's see where we are. Any other questions? I watch more Twitch and YouTube, so J-Rock, you would be there surely. What the flock is Twitch? Twitch is live streaming channel that now doesn't just do gaming. Hussein, do you think Danilo will be playing with Delph injured? I mean, with Mendy injured as well, it's possible. Let's have a look at the injury table, see what we can gather. We've got Mendy out, potential return 18th of April. And Delph out, no return date, ruled out. So we don't know how long he's going to be out for. But I'd say Danilo's likely to play, but I don't particularly think he's a great option. He's a cheap way into that City defence, though. But I think Stones might be a safer option. I think they're similarly priced, if memory serves me correctly. Man City. We've got Danilo at 5 million. That's cheap for a Man City defender. Would I spend the extra 0.4 for Stones? Probably not. So Danilo could be a good choice, but attacking wise, he's not that great at attacking if he gets played at left back, which I think is likely with Kyle Walker still around. We got Prince Kahuja in the chat. What's up, my man? How you doing? Are you captaining Salah or Kane this week? I'm currently on Salah. I'm currently on Kane, but as you can see, if I go to my team, which is set up, captain's on Kane, vice captain on Salah. That could very easily change. Swansea are a team I would like to captain a player against, to be fair. So I don't know for definite. We got Jeff Holt in the building. How are you, Jeff? Raza Shark, Arnie or Lanzini? Perfect question, because it means I can do a comparison. I may have done this last time as well, but I personally like both right now, but I wouldn't double up on West Ham's midfield. Overall, Arnautovic looks like he's going to score more FPL points. You've got goals 5-2 in Arnautovic's favour in the last 6. Assists, you got 3-4. So Lanzini doesn't beat Arnautovic by a lot in assists, whereas in goals, Arnautovic is currently beating Lanzini. They've both started 5 games in the last 6 as well, just so you're aware of that. As far as bonus points, it looks like Lanzini is more of a bonus point magnet, but Arnautovic is involved in more of the goals. 62% to 46% of the points scored Arnautovic is actually involved in. Then we've got minutes per goal, 220 minutes per goal for Lanzini to 86.4 for Arnautovic. Of course, that means more attempts for Arnautovic as well. Shot accuracy is actually better, though, for Lanzini at 54.5 to 46.7. And then minutes per chance created, Arnautovic actually creates more chances with more through balls than Lanzini, despite the fact that the assists is in Lanzini's favour. However, big chances created is equal. Chances created is higher for Arnautovic at 13-7. So I personally prefer Arnautovic, but I don't think either choice is that bad. Okay, where are we? See some statues in the chat. Jeff Holt saying hello to the flock. Salah wears the armband this week. J-Rock, that could very likely happen with my team. But I just worry about taking it off Kane with the form he's in. Is it too late to bring Alonso in? I have Christensen and Mustafi. He's risen in price, hasn't he? So it could be too late. Is he significantly more than he was initially? Alonso currently 7.3. I mean, for the points return, he's still doing really well. Highest point returner in the Chelsea side, above Hazard, above Morata, above Courtois. Azpilicueta is actually the second highest. So if you have a Chelsea player and you can go cheaper elsewhere, then bring in Alonso. That might be a good move for you. I personally think Alonso, it might be too late for me to get on that bandwagon. Nymphria, should I spend my 0.7 getting Wilson in for Calvert-Lewin or use it to upgrade Ruben Loftus-Cheek? Speaking of Everton players, Theo Walcott is apparently making a move to Everton, which should be very interesting to see where he fits into that side. Like, Wilson is the flavour of the month or week at the moment. Do I think he's going to continue to score? And I think maybe in this chat as well I've got some hate for it because I don't think I've been recommending him. But, of course, he then had a pretty good weekend. 5 games, 3 goals. He is the best performing in the last 6 game weeks cheap striker. Jordan Ayew, however, also has 3 goals and is 0.7 million cheaper in arguably a worse side with better shot accuracy and better goal conversion. As far as attempts on goal, Wilson has had more than Ayew, which generally means he's going to outscore him in the long run. Andre Gray's got 2 though as well. De Poitre's got 2 as well. I mean, Bournemouth have good fixtures coming up. West Ham, then it is Chelsea, then it's Stoke, Huddersfield, Newcastle. I would definitely look at him after the Chelsea game. I think they have a very good run of 3 fixtures after they play Chelsea. So Wilson could be a decent shout. Aguero as a differential against Newcastle, that could be a very good bet. I'm just not sure I can bring him in. Don't have the money. Kiko Dantes, would anyone risk Alonso as captain away to Brighton, or is Ari the main man this weekend? I wouldn't risk Alonso purely because any goal against Chelsea would hurt his captaincy option, his candidacy. I can't think of the right word. His points would suffer with a goal from Brighton, and then you need him to score to make him a good captain. And he doesn't score every game, but and then again, no one does. But I personally don't like captaining defenders because it can go really well. Don't get me wrong, it can work wonders, but it can also go wrong. Why do I still have Richarlison? Because I was hoping his underlying stats would actually return some points, and I wanted to save some money to get Aguero, and Richarlison's cheap. You don't save money transferring Richarlison out. I did save money transferring Son out. Now it turns out I should have kept Son for 1 more game week, maybe even 2. That's my mistake, but never mind. Wilson scored a hat-trick at West Ham a few weeks ago in FPL. He did. Don't get me wrong, Wilson is a good striker. I like Wilson. However, I need Bournemouth to have good fixtures for me to go in on them. And right now, I feel like I need more in my midfield, which means I don't really want to spend more on my 3rd striker. Jan-Arvid Jacobson, kick out Lingard, put in some cheap potential differential midfielders. Decore, Milivojevic and Albrighton still have Sterling and Sterling, sounds okay. I would like one more big hitter in that midfield if I'm honest. Just the way I think you should actually go with this. Lovely. So, we have a hater in the chat. As usual, but we're getting used to it now, aren't we? So, if you have some extra cash, you could get Bobby. Oh, Bobby Firmino, I think. I do like Bobby Firmino, to be fair. Sorry, just had to deal with a little situation. Anyway, it's a shame that I have to deal with that sometimes in the chat. Especially when it's happening below where I can see it. Alright, have I found where I was at? Arnautovic all the way, Kiko, I agree. Josh Dolphin, who's in Mike Vape's team? That's a good question. He doesn't seem very happy, does he? Please evaluate this transfer from a Joy. that I've already made for -4. Jones, Ericsson, Depoitre out for Alonso, Arnautovic, Wilson in. I like that, to be fair. I'll take Arnautovic over Ericsson just because I think there's other options in the Spurs side that are cheaper. Wilson over Depoitre I like, and Jones to Alonso. You can't argue with having Jones in your side. Another hoops. I'm considering Albrighton as a 5th midfielder because I can't afford Mahrez. What are your thoughts? I've always liked Albrighton, but he is going to be one of those players that every now and again scores points for you. He's not consistent in his points return, so I would probably not be looking at that. But I've always suggested him if you are looking for a differential, so he could have some really good game weeks for you. Do you think it's good to bring in a West Brom defender in 2 weeks' time? Let's have a look at the fixtures. Okay, so we have West Brom, where are you? Everton, Man City. There is a Chelsea game as well, but it is at away. So Southampton, Huddersfield, I don't think are good enough to be bringing them in right now. I know there suddenly seems to be a potential for them to get clean sheets, but I wouldn't bring in West Brom defenders just yet. Keith Edwards, Flockers, how you doing, Keith? Seb also in the chat. TM12, not really sure what you're getting at, but never mind. Josh Dolphin, and against Southampton, we already scored a hat-trick against. Don't do it. What was that in reference to? AM Saturday. Oh wow, this is quite the drop from Aguero to Firmino. I feel like you should hang on to him, especially when Jesus is not 100% ready and will not be until mid-Feb. The thing is, Firmino has been doing really well in that Liverpool side, and that Liverpool side looks like it's doing okay without the likes of Coutinho after one game. It was against Man City though. As far as goals in the last 6, Firmino scored 5 to Aguero's 3. As far as attempts, yes, Aguero's had a lot more. So has Rondon and Rodriguez, in fact. But he is in the top 5 for attempts on goal. He is in the top 7 for shots inside the box. But again, Aguero and Kane destroy him on that front. Big chances, again, Firmino is a lot lower than the likes of Kane, Benteke, Aguero. But the thing is, shot accuracy is very good for him. Shot accuracy is at 53.3%. That's similar to Harry Kane's return. And his goal conversion is above Harry Kane's at 33.3%. So when he's getting chances, he's putting them away. And he's also capable of getting assists with very good attacking players around him. Razor Shark, keep Grosh or sell. Personally, Brighton now, after the Chelsea game, have good fixtures, so Grosh could be a good shout. Southampton, West Ham, Stoke, Swansea in the next 4, so you could consider him. We've got Adam O saying Walcott and Sanctuson. That could work. I think a lot of people said Sanctuson needs some pace around him, and then you bring in Walcott. Top 3 captain options for this week other than Salah and Kane. Okay, so I would look at your differential. I think your big differential is someone like Mane, purely because everyone's gone the Salah route. Then you've got, of course, the Man City options. So you've got the likes of Aguero and Sterling would be the 2 I would look at. So that's 3 kind of already. But is there any really random choice I'd maybe look at? I mean, Leicester against Watford, I'd imagine there's goals there, so maybe Mahrez. Arsenal against Palace, Lacazette may want to prove himself with the absence of others, but I wouldn't risk that myself, purely because I want to see what happens to that Arsenal side. So I'd say if you're really going differential, Mane or Mahrez, but then you've got the City options as other captaincy choices. Dom J bringing in Wilson, especially because of getting him from game week 26. Apparently Ayew scored again tonight. Josh Dolphin. Jordan Ibe is actually had, I think, just after Salah, the most attempts on goal for a midfielder in the last 6. Yeah, 22 attempts on goal to Salah's 25. However, as far as big chances go, Ibe has had no big chances. So I just want to point that out. Whilst Ibe's stats have looked good, whilst Ibe has had no big chances, Arnautovic at 7 million has had 6. And then Lingard has had 3 at 6.4. So I'm personally not looking at Ibe just yet. Jeff Holt, JNO and Nim, advice please. I'm ranked 12k and I've got a template team except Hazard and Wilson. Should I play cautious and try to increase slowly or go bold? I would leave the bold until the end of the season. I'd really go for broke, say maybe from game week 32 onwards. Maybe just protect your rank until then. That's the way I'd play it. You want to be there or thereabouts near the end so you can jump really high in the ranking. If you're really going for the top spots though, you've just got to make sure you're confident in your risks. If you're not confident in your risks and they don't pay off, then I don't know how to say it to you. You can take risks, but you need to truly believe that risk is going to pay off before I would do it, because you don't want to suddenly drop off significantly. FPL today, how much money do you have in the bank? Not a lot. It's Christmas has just been. Oh, you mean in FPL? Okay, sorry. Money in the bank. Show me what you're working with. Okay, so where is it? I've got squad values at 101.6. In the bank, I've got 1.8. Walker as a differential. Definitely will get more game time. Definitely. Again, you know me, Griffey P. I like to take my time before I bring a player in that's at a new club. So I won't do it for the first game. Sometimes first game is when they really do very well, though. I think Pedro did it when he went to Chelsea. He did incredibly well. So you could maybe jump on early good form, but I prefer to wait and see how they play at a new club. Speaking of which, 41 people watching right now. So thank you guys so much for the support. Stream is doing very well, especially compared to yesterday. For some reason YouTube didn't share my stream yesterday, so never mind about that. But if you do want to support the stream and you are new here, you can of course subscribe, hit that like button, share it out on Twitter or any other social media, and of course various links in ways you can support the channel with monetary donations and sponsorship. I have great value now, scored his first goal, can see him getting more now. True, but I'd like to see more big chances in a player before I bring him in. Thoughts on Bauer for Stoke? I thought he looked good. Whilst a lot of people are looking at him, and I'll keep an eye on him, Innes Henderson, I wouldn't go for him just yet because he's not had enough game time for me to really know if it's just a couple of good performances or if he's actually going to be an asset in FPL. Aim Saturday, if Everton find a good spot where they can consume Walcott's pace, there's a good chance he might be able to replace Rooney's current position. Walcott, especially near the end of the season, Walcott is known for some big point scores. So, especially when we get to the tail end of the season, I'll be looking at Walcott. Josh Dolphin liking Ibe's shots, saying he tore Arsenal apart. I've not actually seen that game though, so I can't really comment on that. Keith Edwards, Stones or Virgil van Dijk? You know what? I got a lot of grief for this before, but it turns out Liverpool's defence isn't as bad as I was saying a lot. If we actually look at shots conceded, Liverpool are very close to Man City. 55 shots in the last 6 to 51 conceded. As far as on target, they've conceded only 3 more. Clean sheets, Liverpool have less than Man City, but only by 1. I would still probably go City, because away I don't trust the Liverpool defence still. But they are a lot better, and with Virgil van Dijk they could improve a lot. Virgil van Dijk for me is more likely to score goals though. So if you're looking for a defender that's going to help you climb the table, I'd go Van Dijk. If you're looking for a cheap option that is probably a safer bet for clean sheets, Stones. But Virgil van Dijk for me is going to score more than Stones. I mean, I can't take a player out that is scoring points for me like Otamendi, Josh Dolphin. When someone's scoring for me, I usually keep them until they stop scoring, which isn't always the best idea, but Tiger Rage, play Lingard or Wilson. So, Bournemouth against West Ham and Man U versus Burnley. I prefer Burnley's defence to West Ham's. So, I'd maybe say Wilson. But I have just been burned by Lingard, to be fair. Oh, the chat is popping off. I'm way behind. Dom J, I'll consider it. We'll see how it goes later in the chat. I have noticed a lot of things though. So maybe, Dom, we can make you a mod. Exactly, Aim. If you've got the budget, get the big guns. Jay Rock says the same guy was on Scoutcast yesterday. You know, some people just don't have anything better to do, Jay. FPL Red Eagle, how are you doing, my friend? Good to see you in the chat. I saw your tweet. In Fantasy Football Scout, it was constant last night. To be honest, why these people do this, I don't know. Wow, they really went for it, didn't they? Nymphrea holding Aguero. Good luck to you for that. I personally hope Aguero doesn't score much. Is the Poitre still worth it? Huddersfield. I probably wouldn't go near Huddersfield. Stoke, but then it's Liverpool, Man City after that. Then it is Bournemouth, West Brom, but I think Callum Wilson, if you're going for an actual striker that might score goals, would be a better bet. Daryl McKay, I'm looking at Lanzini or Pogba. I'd go Lanzini right now unless you've already got Arnautovic. Sorry, there's a lot of things to go through here. Get out of the way. Why did Salah not drop? No one knows, to be fair. Everyone thought he'd drop a little bit, but he didn't drop at all. Which means those of us that kept him are very happy with ourselves. But AM Saturday, Pogba will not... I like Pogba, but I just have a feeling he doesn't create big chances, which is worrying me. But I personally think he's the best player in that squad, so I would consider him. The false nine, short, a cheap Man United option. How long is the man Ashley Young out for? I wouldn't risk it because I think Ashley Young will come back in that position. Titus Shamels got sent here from Total FPL. Hopefully you enjoy the show, my friend. Arnautovic and Stones in for Mustafi and Son. I like that move, especially if it gives you that much in the bank. Should I then sell Aguero to get some cash to buy that strong midfield? Jesus returns. I would keep Aguero for now. Personally, I think Aguero could have some big returns. That's not guaranteed, of course. But I'm struggling to get the funds. And I'm worried I'm going to make my team too weak in certain areas. So I will probably have to ignore Aguero. Because by the time I've got the funds to bring him in, it would probably be too late. So if you've got Aguero, I wouldn't get rid of him. I personally think don't change your team too much just to get him in. But if there's just like 1 or 2 moves you can do to get him in, he could be a very good bet. Jack Nash, rate your team. Pickford, Otamendi, Alonso, Robertson, Son, Arnautovic, Salah, Sterling, Firmino, Kane, Wilson, Foster, Ogbonna, Ruben Loftus-Cheek, Norton. I like your first 11. Your first 11 looks good. Your midfield especially, and your strikers and your defence. Your bench could use some work, but to be honest, they're going to be your bench. So, Gordon Gilbody, how you doing, my friend? Good to see you here. Aguero did score 5. I captained him for that fixture. I remember that fixture very well, the false 9. Ah, no beer for you tonight, Gordon. That's a shame. Darryl Mackay, I have Kane and Firmino too. Tiger Rage, sometimes we just get people that jump in here that are unfortunately like that. Just try and ignore them, and if anyone says stuff like that, as you're a mod, feel free to hide the message, to time them out, all that kind of stuff. Seb already thinking about next season. Good scouting, Seb. Is Chilwell worth considering? I mean, he's cheap as far as I'm aware. 4.3. Gonna save you some budget. Hasn't played in game week 21 or 22. So I'd wait for more certainty on his game time. But if you're looking for a cheap defender, if he does start to play, that's not bad. Who do I think you should captain between Kane, Aguero and Salah? I mean, Salah's the highest scoring player in the Premier League right now. One of the best players, and he's playing one of the worst teams. All my logic says Salah, but there's still a part of me that wants to captain Kane. Gordon Gilbody's keeping Son. That could work out really well for you. A lot of times, people transfer out players because big fixtures are coming. But every now and again, a big fixture can just blow up and have a crazy scoreline. And you could really benefit. So, just because everyone's doing it doesn't always mean you have to do it if you've got a feeling about a player. So, I wish you the best of luck with that one, Gordon. Have I got any transfer plans this week? If I ever get around to making my team video, which I've done all the graphics for, I don't know, because part of me is thinking, do I still try and get Aguero in, or do I just bring in a different Man City option, potentially a differential like De Bruyne, who's cheaper as well. So I want Abraham out my side. Do I get in a better player like Wilson? Or do I get in a cheaper player like Quainer who's just going to sit on the bench? If I do get a cheaper player, I may eventually be able to get Aguero, but I don't want to get rid of Kane. Or do I get out a player like Richarlison, who I don't really think is of value anymore? So I really don't know what my transfer plan is for this week just yet. No player has stood out to me that I really want, apart from Aguero, especially with that Newcastle game. So I might carry it, just because I don't know what to do. Oxlade-Chamberlain, I've spoken about this before, Harry. I'm considering him, but I want to see him perform as well as he did against City 1 or 2 more times, and then I'll probably bring him in. Jan Iver Jacobson says his team value has dropped. Unfortunately, if you make the wrong moves, that can happen, but I would always say this: consider your ranking above your value. You do want to have a higher team value than when you started, but some people just play to get team value, and that can really help near the end of the season. But if you're that far behind by that point, was it really worth it? Griffey really likes Ayew as the third choice striker. Chaos is here. Just dropped to the bottom of the chat, but I saw you there, mate. If Auba goes to Arsenal, is it an idea to have him in my team? Like I always say, never jump on someone straight away unless you're very confident. I went Salah when he joined Liverpool purely because I felt he'd be very similar to Mane. So I took a gamble that he'd fit the system, and he did. A lot of people gambled Lacazette. It's not been the best move to get Lacazette in. A lot of people got Morata. Fortunately for me, I went for him when it worked. But again, new players at clubs sometimes take some time to settle in. So sometimes just wait and see how they perform. Can I swap Rooney to Wilson? I wouldn't see a problem with that. Rooney, his underlying stats weren't that great compared to his output of points. So as expected, his output of points has dropped. Fire Tog up to 92 points this week to be up to 5k. We got some ballers in the chat. Liam Shaw, how spicy do you have your Nando's? Mine's plain, just like my Fantasy Premier League team. I like that one. I like that one, Liam. That's a good one. I mean, if you are actually interested, I can eat the hottest Nando's with very little trouble. But, you know, I personally don't look at Nando's and think it's spicy. Stefan Perkovic, I'm doing Wildcard this game week. Who do you suggest for me to bring in? I would have Salah. I would have Sterling. I would have one of Aguero and Kane, whoever you think is going to score more highly. I do like Firmino right now, and I like Arnautovic. Son is a very good option right now. Defence, if you can fit Alonso in, he's going to probably do very well for the rest of the season. You've got Otamendi, and you've got, for me, Phil Jones is very good in the Man United side. Goal, if you can get De Gea in, but I've said a lot of expensive players now, so other than that, if we're looking at fixtures and players you could then transfer out, you could take a punt on someone from Stoke, Huddersfield, Watford, Bournemouth, Brighton, Hove Albion, Leicester in the next 5. Brighton, after the Chelsea game, has some decent fixtures. You've got Grosh and I believe Isguardido and Glenn Murray as options for those 4 fixtures. Bournemouth, Callum Wilson, Ibe is potential, but he needs to start getting some better chances. But he could start doing a Coutinho and scoring from distance as well. So Ibe could be a consideration there. Everton could potentially have some cheap options. Walcott, they've got West Brom, Leicester, Crystal Palace, Watford, either side of Arsenal. So, and Walcott might want to perform against Arsenal. You never know. Walcott may want to get into the England squad, so he's got something to prove. So that could be a good gamble. You got West Ham, still 4 good fixtures before Liverpool. Bournemouth, Crystal Palace, Brighton, Hove Albion, Watford. You've got Leicester. I personally think with 3 decent fixtures, then City, Mahrez is probably the only one I'd really look at from there. Watford I'd steer clear of for a little bit. Just I don't feel like there's any great options there. And then the rest of the teams, the fixtures look tough. So that's kind of a rough look at what I'd consider for your team. Hussein, leave your move to the last minute. Know what your move is, but make it at the last minute so he doesn't have any time to react. That's another good idea, Keith. Roll a transfer over and then do 2 at a time. Again, doing it near the last minute, he can't really do anything about it. Is Salah overrated? I personally don't think so. Highest scorer in the league at the moment. If we look at just all players. The highest point scorer in the league right now is Salah, 179. Closest is Kane, 147. So I don't think he's overrated at all. A lot of people are saying Mane might be a better option because he was further forward in the City game. But maybe Salah is a better defensive player. So because of the game, he was asked to go back a bit more. Maybe he's now being asked to play a bit more of a creative role instead of being a goal scorer. Keep an eye on it. It may be time to move Salah out, depending on how the team reshuffles. Griffey P, think you need to design your kit. I really have. Basically, there's this thing amongst Fantasy Premier League players. We're so much in a rush to get our team registered, because then we get a nice like number. I think mine's 812. I was the 812th person to create a team, so I never made my kit, but I'll look into that. I know that's probably really annoying to look at for some people. Titus Shambles, you know what? People can say what they like. I'm not bothered. I know the truth. My flock know the truth, so don't worry about it. Not at all Michael, who is banging in goals as much as him in the Prem. Exactly. Stefan Perkovic, I'm thinking of 5-4-1. De Gea, Walker, Van Dijk, Alonso, Jones, Masaka, Salah, Mane, Sterling, Arnautovic, Kane. You know what? I like that team. I can't see much wrong with it. Yeah, I've got no issues with that at all. Keith Edwards, wildcard maybe. I'd only wildcard if you really need to, if you're dropping in ranking. Should I keep Sterling and Sane or sell one of them? Razor Shark, I would take a gamble with just one of them. You could keep both, but I kind of feel like if one does well, the other doesn't. Michael Doyle, if you have Son, keep him until after this fixture. Drop to the bottom of the chat again, so give me a sec. Chaos, finally got to where you are in the chat. Welcome back to the stream, my friend. Dinesh L, De Gea, Otamendi, Jones, Alonso, Kenny, Sterling, Lingard, Salah, Son, Arnautovic, Kane, Subs, Pope, Wilson, Ogbonna and Niasse. I have 1 million in the bank. I like that team. Niasse could potentially go. If he moves, he may do well, but he may not. Other than that, I like your team. I think Aguero looked really poor against Liverpool. There's better value elsewhere, like Sane. That's against Liverpool, though. That's a big game. Aguero could turn it on against Newcastle. Josh Dolphin, I hope it's feeding time for Spurs. They only have one Spurs player, so maybe not too much. Maybe just Kane. Maybe Kane with no assist. Nice Chaos. Getting in there before the price rise. Michael Doyle, that's why I took Son out. 1, to get more money to spend elsewhere, but 2, because Spurs fixtures do get tough. Gordon Gilbody, Everton defender. I personally like Kenny. I was on a podcast with someone that is the Everton nutritionist, and he thinks Kenny will play until Coleman comes back. Who can I bring in a defender instead of Ogbonna with an extra 1 million? Jones, Alonso, Kenny, Sterling, Otamendi. I mean, you've got 3 really good ones there already. I mean, I don't think you need another premium price defender. I wouldn't gamble on West Brom because they're fixtures. I mean, I've suggested maybe Brighton, but I don't like their fixtures amazingly either. To be honest, I don't really know. I would probably stick with Ogbonna purely because their fixtures are better than some of the teams you'd be moving to. Not that I like West Ham's defence, but I just don't see clean sheets elsewhere. Do I get rid of Pope? I'm going to hold on to him probably for this week, but it may be time to get rid of Pope. I'm imagining Tom Heaton's still number 1. But who knows? Who knows? Pope or Adrian? For purposes of knowing who's more likely to play in goal, Adrian is probably the one to go for. Can't believe Joe Hart moved to West Ham because he wanted to get in the World Cup squad, and it looks like it's not even going to work out that way. Best goalkeeper for the next few fixtures. I mean, Butland's a good goalkeeper. And Huddersfield, Brighton, with Watford, Bournemouth, Leicester. Watford, Bournemouth, Leicester are capable of scoring goals though, so I probably wouldn't look there. Brighton's goalkeeper, Southampton, Stoke, Swansea. After this Chelsea game, the Brighton keeper could be a decent short-term shout. Other than that, it's difficult. I would probably just look for a rotation pair, or maybe just stick with what you got and not expect points. AM Saturday, if you're looking for a third striker, get Alonso. Alonso is a point magnet, to be fair to him. Josh Dolphin, Pope might get save points. Pope and Heaton before him both have sometimes conceded goals but still got decent scores. Michael Doyle, I personally think Moyes is getting the best out of his attack, so I think Arnautovic and Lanzini could keep up their form. I've been convinced about the attack, not the defence. Next season, Salah's price is going to be crazy. I bet his class as a forward. Let's enjoy him while we can. Exactly. Just like I enjoyed Joshua King last season when I figured out he was going to be a differential. FPL Red Eagle, Courtois, Alonso, Masaka, Kenny, Son, Lingard, Sterling, Salah, Richarlison, Kane, Kun, Elliot, Me, Ziegler, Niasse. No money in the bank. Overall rank 6k. Well done, my friend. Richarlison definitely needs to go. Masuaka would be my first port of call to get rid of him. The Ziegler as well and Niasse. Those would be the ones I'd be replacing. I do like Grosh after the next fixtures just because the fixtures are good, so potentially he could get some points again. He would be a short-term move though. I am hoping Lingard, Sterling, Salah just keep performing. Kane and Kun could do really well for you though, so I'm happy you've got that up front for yourself. TP is back in the chat. How you doing, my friend? Any statues in the chat yesterday? There were a couple, but not as many as today. Michael Doyle, 20th of January is literally the next game week. And also, Quainer is someone that you're going to be benching most of the time anyway. So he's mainly to make sure you've got budget to spend elsewhere. Gordon Gilbody, while I'm confident in West Ham's attack, I'm not sure I want to double up on them. But that would be, if it works, that would be a killer move. Would I sell Kane when the fixtures get tough? It depends if I think I can get him back in easily enough. Because a straight swap to Aguero for a bit could be the move to make. Basically, Spurs from 25 to 27 have Man United, Liverpool, Arsenal. Whereas City have, in the same period, West Brom, Burnley, Leicester. But the problem is, you're going to lose whatever value you've got from Kane. Because he's now at, I would get 12.7 million if I sell him, but he's at 13. So if I got rid of him for Aguero, who is currently 11.7 million... If I'm selling for 12.7, I've got to have 0.3 million spare at least to get him back in. But Aguero could rise while Kane drops in that period. So that could be a gamble to take. But I don't know, because I personally think Kane, whilst I've not been as impressed with Spurs against big teams recently, Could Kane score against Man United? I personally think Man United might shut him out. Liverpool, I could see being an open game potentially. And Arsenal, who knows? Kane does like to score in derbies every now and again, so I don't know yet. That's something I'll really have to think about when this game week's gone. Chaos's team: Pope, Christensen, Robertson, Otamendi, Ali, Salah, Sterling, Richarlison, Arnie, Firmino, Kane. 2.1 in the bank. Could get an Alonso in on a -4 for Christensen. Any thoughts on the team? Richarlison could probably go now. Otherwise, Christensen to Alonso is a upgrade. Pope is a bit of a worry now. If you didn't know, Tom Heaton is back in training. Those are the areas I'll be looking at. We've got TP's team: De Gea, Pope, Otamendi, Christensen, me, Daniels, and Mbemba, Moy, Grosh, Sterling, Salah, Lingard, Kane, Firmino, Depoitre. Who to change? 0.5 in the bank. Depoitre to Wilson looks like a very popular move, and Wilson and Bournemouth have some decent fixtures coming up soon. Mbemba is one that you probably already know, but he saves you money. De Gea, Pope, you've always got a decent choice with De Gea there. So if you really needed to put money elsewhere, near the end of the season, if you transferred out De Gea, you could maybe bring in a bigger midfielder or striker. But Depoitre and Mbemba would be the ones I'm looking at. Arnautovic and Lanzini are going mad with these fixtures, but Arnautovic is a smart option with his form in the striker position. Doyle, Arnautovic up front. The only worry is Andy Carroll. If Andy Carroll goes to another club, that's great for us. If Andy Carroll keeps coming in every now and again in the striker position, that's a bit of a worry. TP, that's quite creative. Do I think Shaw's a good option for a cheap United defender? I'd wait until Ashley Young's injuries till he's back. See what happens with Young. Pickford. I mean, Everton's fixtures, if I can find Everton, aren't too bad. Only Arsenal was a really bad one. Just he's a bit expensive for a goalkeeper for me. JNO had an okay birthday. Happy to hear your birthday was alright. I would have liked it to have been better. Okay is not the best descriptive word. FA overturned the red, but you've lost the match, haven't you? So that's really disappointing. Sorry to hear that. MSAT got rid of Jones for Ben Mee to get money. Is it better to -16 or wildcard? Definitely better to wildcard. Don't take a -16. If you miss my answer, the defender instead of Ogbonna, I personally think Ogbonna has the fixtures, and I don't see any option the same price as him. If you're happy to upgrade, then there's options like Stones and other players of that ilk. But you've got Otamendi, Jones and Alonso. So do you really need a better defender than Ogbonna? That was my answer, Dinesh. Who have I got in the cup? I'm actually worried that I might get knocked out this week. Because my cup opponent's team, it's the first time I've really looked at a team and thought that could be as good as mine in a game week. He has Kane. He has Firmino. He has Lingard, Sterling and Salah. Our differential here is De Bruyne he has. I've got Richarlison. Loftus-Cheek, I've got no, wait. Who have I got there? Richarlison. Who the hell do I have? I've got Salah, Sterling, Lingard, Richarlison, and someone. But I don't remember who it is, which is bad. He's got Azpilicueta and Otamendi. I've got Otamendi and Jones. He's got Dunk Ogbonna. I've got, I think, me and Masuwaka and someone else. He's got De Gea, which is a worry. If we compare that to my team, and I can finally remember who my other midfielder is, Arnautovic. I like the fact that I've got Arnautovic. I think if I replace Richarlison with potentially the same player as him, so if I replace Richarlison with none. I can't upgrade to De Bruyne. That's too much money. So Kenny's the same. Oh no, I'm looking at my team now. Ogbonna, Masuaka, don't think there'll be much difference there. Worried about Azpilicueta. Yeah, just I fear that on a game week he could beat me. I'm hoping he won't, but we'll see. I think Fabianski and Pickford are the best pair of budget goalkeepers, both excellent shot stoppers, so we'll rack up the save points. I like both of them. Probably wouldn't go Fabianski because he's at Swansea, but I do like Pickford. Getting Norwich last second equaliser versus Chelsea. Really? Who will you change Pope for if when he stops starting? Might go straight to Heaton, but I do like Pickford. I do like Adrian potentially for the next couple of fixtures. I'll be sticking with the template-ish. Might try and make some moves as the season progresses. Thank you, Amir Haja. That's much appreciated. True, he didn't have Alonso, but maybe he's making that move. I don't know. I'm off next stream. Next stream will be next week. I am moving house, so I might try and get it done as early as possible. So the game week ends, if we have a look. Last game is Monday night, Swansea-Liverpool. Quite a big one to not involve. So probably be Tuesday night. Tuesday night stream, then maybe Wednesday just to get him out of the way. Because I am moving flat, there may not be a video, so it may just be 2 streams. I thought I'd straighten the 4th defender and decided to go with Kane as lone striker. We'll take Wilson's points. What is your view? I mean, for the midfielders and defenders have outperformed the strikers, so it could work really well. A lot of people have done that for a lot of the season. Thank you very much, AM Saturday. Much appreciated. Hopefully the move goes smoothly and I won't miss out on any content for you guys, but I probably will at some point. FPL, Red Eagle, Brighton, Ibe or Oxen for Richarlison. I don't like any of those choices just yet, to be fair. If I had to, I'd go Ibe because of the fixtures. Just because I'm not sure about Ox, and Brighton's one that if you'd not really got anyone else to think of, then you'd put him in. See you later, Jeff. I'm heading off soon as well. Statues to Fantasy Premier League tips. Good luck on your big money transfer to a new house. Thank you very much. Would you consider some sort of prize for whoever wins your mini league? Perhaps a cameo appearance on one of your videos? That I could do. I mean, the reason I've never done a cash prize is, total honesty, I can't afford it at the moment. All the money that I get from doing YouTube either goes back into YouTube or actually goes into paying bills and providing for my daughter. So as soon as I could give out a cash prize, I would. But yeah, I could definitely think of something like that, Jack. Definitely think of bringing them on. Maybe if they got Skype, they can chat in the stream for a bit. Keith Edwards, I'll look to get Sanchez in after a couple of games just to see where he's playing. Anyway, guys, I'm going to call the stream there, an hour in. Thank you guys so much for joining the stream. It's always appreciated. If you want to support the channel in any way, random hiccup while I'm talking, have a look in the description down below. You can sponsor the stream. You can become a patron and support the channel from $1 a month. Every donation and all that kind of stuff is much appreciated. Really helps me out. Also, of course, you can simply just watch the videos, like, share, and watch the adverts. That always helps me out as well if you watch the full advert, which boosts up my CPM, which is always nice. Great spending another hour with you guys on stream. Maybe on Friday there might be a random test stream. It won't be a proper stream, but there might be a test which you might want to just jump in on. May give you an idea to what I'm trying to do in the future with some other creators. So, you know, if you just want to be nosy, you can maybe be nosy. Anyway, I've been J&O. This has been FPL Today. And remember, it's all about the game.